Ready, you guys? He's not ready. Oh, Tequila Talk Tuesday, Cinco de Mayo. I'm just gonna add, as per usual, our girl Jenna. There she is.
Yeah, Pablo.
Understand where?
There. Hi.
What's up?
Hi. Hello, hello.
Hey guys.
How's it going?
Good.
Good.
Can you hear us okay?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Can you hear us? Are we good? Like,
Yep.
Did
Long
you
time no see.
I did. I texted her. I said we have a present for her, and she's very excited.
I'm so excited. Well, cheers.
Yeah, cheer. Hold on. It's very full.
Sorry, I don't drink tequila, so
Yeah, he's drinking beer.
It's a good day to start.
Yeah. That works. It works.
Milo.
Yeah, yours looks so good. I love the watermelon.
I had to. When you sent me the recipe, I was like, I have to.
It looks so good. Looks so good.
It's actually really good. I'm pretty happy with it. Anyways, all right, Cinco de Mayo. We are very, very excited because it is our 5th episode on the 5th month of the 5th day. We're doing Tequila Talk Tuesday on a Wednesday, but that's okay. And we are very excited to have our husbands, boyfriends, partners in crime
Excuse me? I kid.
join us. So we got my husband here. This is Jeremiah. Jeremiah, I don't know what to say about you. Okay. Owns his own company, detail contracting. He is our resident home renovation and building expert. And then on Jenna's end,
This is Pablo. This is my better half, and he is well, and he is a realtor. And I feel like these two together. Pablo has background in the custom home building, just like Jerry does. So I feel like having these two guys on is just going to be really good and give a lot of good info on, you know, real estate, home renos, if it's a good time to buy, you name it. So that's kind of one of the things that Pablo does.
he'll try. So just we're getting comments already, and I'm really happy that Jerry's on here. That's Jay. Aw, Jerry, let's go, buddy.
Nice.
Awesome. Okay, well, yeah, like that's kind of a brief intro into what you guys do. And the reason why we wanted to do this for Cinco de Mayo is just like, first of all, celebration, and it came at a really good time, you guys, considering the news that just, I don't want to get into it. Jenna and I have already texted about it today. But,
Hi, Sherry.
I love
I see that you brought some fans. I should have texted my friends. I see Carly there, my friend Carly. Hi, Carly.
Yeah, so we wanted to bring them on because just like me and Jenna, we are all entrepreneurs and we kind of wanted to talk about just on being the entrepreneurial couples that we are, and what it takes to stay alive, I guess. Like just in this pandemic. So the first thing we wanted to ask you guys is what's like being hitched onto two ridiculous boss babes that want to do all the things all the time.
all the things.
Oh.
Who is this person? I kid.
I'm gonna go exhausting.
Jerry says exhausting.
I'm gonna let Jerry start on this one.
He said exhausting.
Oh,
I just think overall exhausting because she takes on so much that she doesn't finish that one project, and then carries on to the next one. So it's like you got to finish it and then move on. So exhausting a bit.
Hey, good advice right there.
Just want to do all the things. All right, Pablo, what's it like being
Amber's getting kind of sewer there.
What's it like being?
I kid.
what's my life?
I think I won't say exhausting. It's just I feel maybe I see a little bit of myself in it too, in that we want to pursue many different things at once, and maybe I'm not the one to say that we should be doing this or should be doing the other. I just think that our place is to support each other. And if, who am I to say that she shouldn't be doing this? Because if she has the vision to, and it's not a dig at you, it's just thinking
That's my answer. He's saying my answer. Why is he saying my answer?
No, I'm just thinking in terms of whatever she sees and maybe I don't see, I shouldn't be pulling the plug on it. However, I do think that it is our duty, and just like it is from you girls to us, to give us the truth. And if we believe that the idea is not good, then you know what, this is why I don't think it's good. And you know, voice it out, and maybe they can contribute and say, you know, well, that's not what I'm thinking to do at all. Actually, what I was thinking to do is this other way. And maybe that's how we can support each other, perhaps.
Yeah. And sometimes I want Pablo to tell me, hey, tell me what to do. And he won't. He makes me figure it out for myself. Like this freaking.
That's a lie. She does not listen to anything I say. She just does it. And then I'm like, why are you working 19 hours a day? Oh, because you've got like 10 different things going on.
I want all the things, all the
We're
success.
just trying to keep up to you guys.
I don't work 19 hours a day. Wow. I can't say that.
So, sometimes I do, I guess. But I think it all comes down to, at the end of the day, I think everyone here is supportive of each other. And even if at first the other person may not see what the other person wants to do, then again, it's just our job to be encouraging and help in what we can.
Guide them.
Without doing their work.
I couldn't do her work. I got big men.
I'll let you practice lashes on me.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if I get that bad.
That's hilarious. Okay, well, maybe we'll move on to, we kind of went over, we got to meet and have dinner and kind of brainstorm about what we wanted to talk about on today's episode. And one of the things is, you know, you guys are both, we're all entrepreneurs in all kind of different aspects, I guess. But Jerry, you've been doing it for a long time. And so I feel like what has kept you on your path of still being an entrepreneur and like staying with it all these years?
Well, a lot to do with it is when I was younger, whatever, I'm dyslexic. So my biggest thing was to prove people wrong. And so what I ended up doing is proving everybody that I wouldn't accomplish anything in my life very wrong. And that's a big part of why I stick. And I'm so picky on what I do because I'm proving everybody, you know what I mean? So
I like that. I like that it fuels your fire, you know?
Yeah.
Chip on your shoulder.
Yeah, I like it. That's good.
Well, he said to me a lot of the times too is that because over the years we've gone back and forth about him, you know, going and working for another builder or working for someone else, and he never seems to pull the trigger on that because you always say you can't do it, you can't work for somebody else, but you say like your time freedom and and you know, all of that is just so important to you, and being an entrepreneur gives you that.
Yeah.
Not necessarily in the ways that you think, because you know Jerry's taking calls at 10 o'clock at night and doing quotes and stuff like that, but if we want to take off a weekend, we can take off a weekend without, you know, having to send in a written notice to our boss saying, by the way.
Yes.
And I do shut off my phone though. I don't even answer my phone.
Yes.
I'm a bad one.
Pablo can't do that.
Well, I could. It just costs me money if I don't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, just so for Pablo, kind of the same question, like what keeps you, like you're an entrepreneur, but in a different sense. You still work with a team and you still work with other professionals, but when you were explaining to me how your job works, you still get to set your own hours, you still get to work your own pace and stuff like that. So what keeps you going?
A combination of what you said, Jerry. I think being solo or being in a team, all that, well, a good part of what the team provides is a lot of experience, a lot of structure. So it's not necessarily being an employee, because like you said, I have my own hours. I am fully a contractor. So if I don't work and I don't, you know, make sales or help people buy homes or sell homes, I don't get paid, and the bills don't stop coming. So on that, it is, you know, it's good to have the structure, especially because I believe, Jerry, you and I are at different stages, whereas you have all the experience in the world. I am just starting, so to speak. So being surrounded by a team is super helpful. I'm very grateful where I'm at right now. But in terms of what keeps me going, I would be lying if I didn't say that it is a bit of the same of ownership of your time, the freedom to decide what you want to do, and having the financial means to do so. To, if you want to be working at 10 o'clock at night, you will be paid for it, as opposed to previous gigs that I've had or previous careers that I was pursuing in which you are a salary person and you're expected to put overtime hours that have zero bearing or zero remuneration whatsoever. On the chip on the shoulder type of thing, if there is one thing that I cannot even fathom of how I put up with it, is the idea that I would come up to you, Amber, and say, Amber, can I have next Thursday off because I got a dentist appointment? And you'd be, nope, sorry. Like,
Right?
me, my own adult asking for permission. I fucking hate. I couldn't do it. No way. No way.
Agreed.
Perfect.
Well, I mean, I think that's kind of it's a very common answer when you actually talk to really strong-willed entrepreneurs. Like, I just recently quit my corporate job. I worked 9 to 5. I was working until 11 o'clock at night. I was working on salary and commission, not getting paid for it, not getting anywhere, feeling dissatisfied, fighting with this guy. Like, it was not fun. And I think if you talk to any entrepreneur that really, really is passionate about being an entrepreneur, that's their number one. That's their number one reason for being an entrepreneur: the time freedom and like the personal freedom that you get. And like the satisfaction that you can get from creating your own work and your own hours and being able to live a life like fulfilled. I think that that's amazing.
100%. And I think too, like, just to kind of add on that, the part of the freedom, it's you, everything that you're doing it for yourself, and you see the direct results of that, where before, when you're working for someone, you're putting in all this effort and in hopes that they're going to appreciate it and acknowledge it. And sometimes they do, but sometimes they don't. And so it's not as rewarding, me working 12 hours for someone else versus 12 hours for myself.
But that's not true at the same time. Like, when I'm doing a renovation in a house, I have to, like, if the client doesn't like something, the way something looks, I have to be on my feet trying to figure the best way to fix that.
But it's still a good name. But it still pertains to your company, though.
It's it's my company, but I'm still not the boss. If you think about it.
Yeah.
Right. That's true. That is true.
It's also important to make the distinction that it's not a one size fits all. There's plenty of people that, the corporate life suits them and it's fine for them. And at some point, people like us and like many other people as well that have a drive to be better, and they pursue self-development and taking on new skills, maybe pursuing a different career. At some point, maybe for you, Jerry, this was way a long time ago, and maybe for you ladies as well, but at some point it reaches a crossroads or a fork in the road in which you have to kind of walk the walk. You talk all this about how you're gonna you're learning, you're growing, you're your own person, and then you have to take the plunge and go solo and take on your own career in your own hands, as opposed to relying on a corporate backing that no matter what, regardless what happens, you have your paycheck every 2 weeks type of thing.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Fair enough. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, with Jerry saying that, that he's his own boss, but sometimes not, because he's doing what the clients want. Is there, like, I feel like that kind of segue into a really hot topic right now. Like, how many people do you know during COVID decided to do renos? Like, we would take our dogs for a walk, and like every other house, it was like torn apart, shit everywhere, everything's going on. And some of the people that I talked to, projects were like so late or delayed, or price of lumber, everything went up. And the people that they were dealing with, it was kind of like all over the place, very mixed reviews. So what's something, like, what are questions that people should be asking when they're looking for someone to help to do these rentals? Like, what do they look for in a good contractor?
Well, the knowledge to actually know what they're doing. Unfortunately, with the way our economy is right now, a lot of people downtown were laid off, and it sucks, and I agree with that. But they automatically jump to, I can build a fence, or I can do a bathroom renovation. And now there's a flooding the market full of contractors, which puts my job, not so much me because I'm a lot of word of mouth, but it just puts it in a frustrating zone because I have to go in and fix other people's problems, which really does suck. So, like, to look for a good contractor, you should have like a solid reference quote. Like, a lot of my stuff I get is word of mouth
from high developers,
from like bigger developers and like high-end clients, and that's how I get my jobs because I've done work for them, and they won't recommend anybody else.
Yeah,
and that's what makes it that much better. So
I think too, especially I've noticed something with you is when you go in and you actually explain something, Jerry is there. Jerry doesn't want to just give a quote to give a quote. You know what I mean? Like, you know, if somebody asks him for, you know, a 20 by 22 garage, what's the standard quote? Jerry's like, okay, well, but what do you need? Are you looking at for the ground up? Are you looking for concrete laid? Are you looking for a high retaining wall? Are you looking for looking for just a standard garage? Like he asked questions, and I feel to make sure that he's getting as much information as humanly possible. And he actually will go out and he'll measure, he'll quote, and actually talk to the clientele. Whereas there's a lot of people out there that says, oh, standard 20 by 20 garage is 16,000.
I'd like to see that.
But you know what I mean? But then they go in and then they're like, oh, you didn't need this, or you need this and this and this and this and this. Okay, well now you're paying Jerry's price anyway. They're not asking questions. So I think that's really important as well, is having a contractor that asks you questions about exactly what you're looking for.
Maybe I should lower my price.
No, and that's something too, because like even when we were building my space, like when we were looking for plumbers, that was a huge one. And I don't think that you should just go with whoever is the cheapest. Like, I understand that money is tight, and we're all like, we get that. Everyone can relate to that, especially right now. But there is something to be said about doing your research and like, yeah, making sure that they are a good person, that they have done other references, and that it's not just the cheapest thing out there, because you're going to end up paying double the price because you're going to have someone come and fix it. And so like, I haven't done a ton of rentals or anything yet, but my experience with my plumber, I would only recommend my plumber, and I would only get him to do anything because he was awesome. And like meeting you and like actually getting to meet you with my eyes open and not like closed on Amber's table. But it's the same thing. It's like, it's personalities. You have to jive with that person. You have to like them. And that's where all of our industries relate so well. And that we get a lot of word of mouth referrals is because people like us and they trust us, and they know that we're not doing it for the money. We are genuinely looking out for them. And maybe we're not the cheapest, but it's for a very specific and good reason.
There's a reason why we're like, I'm not saying we're not the cheapest, but you know what I mean? But we're good at our jobs. You know what I mean? So
well,
stick with that.
And that kind of segues into
our friend Ben commented, yo, what's with your eye?
I don't know which eye.
That tequila hit you that quick or what?
Yeah.
I was not planning on drinking today. I think there's something to be said as well, as far as when you are on your own and longevity is the goal. You want to be successful long term. Of course, you want to. I firmly believe never be the cheapest, because likely there are some corners you're cutting. And if you look at it from the buyer's perspective, you know, somebody who is hiring you to do a garage, if they're going for the cheapest available, who's going to quote me the cheapest, then maybe that client, that buyer, that person looking for that job, then maybe that person is not worthwhile taking on as a client, because their expectations and the type of person that they, you know, and not to read too much into it, but it is likely that if they're going exclusively by price, if you lower your standards just to bid it in, it's never going to end up well, because you know that it's not a good measure. Much in the same way on the, you know, in your situation, when you're looking out to get some work and you're contracting out, just like you said, getting the references. And one thing I'm very fond of is buy the seller. You know, check out cross references. What kind of work have they done? What reputation do they have? Do they stand behind their work? So on and so forth. And likely that doesn't come cheap. And cheap, you know, and expensive is not a bad thing.
No,
often is the opposite.
If you want it done the first time right, then you hire the guys to do it, right? So
It's honestly like basic psychology. People automatically put a higher like with higher price products, they expect higher quality products. That's just basic psychiatry or psychology. So if you're saying that you're going to do a garage for 16,000, they're going to get a $16,000 garage. It's going to be base framing and that's it, you know, but there won't be much. Exactly.
Not anymore. Not with the price of lumber.
the price of lumber, there won't be
Yeah,
that.
they get half a garage.
It'll be like a little patio, that little.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so Pablo, kind of asking you the same thing. What do you recommend people look for in a realtor, or who to trust with buying or selling your house?
Just like I just said, buy the seller, buy the person. When you, Jerry, touched on, or actually it was you, Amanda, who said, you know, oh, Amber, sorry, you said somebody's going to build a garage, and then you're asking the questions, hey, you need to be, you know, what type of garage? Do you need concrete? Do you need this? Do you need the other? I believe with buying a realtor, it goes so much more about just, okay, sure, we can help you buy or sell a house. There are, just in the garage scenario, many variables that come into play. That person may be in a difficult financial situation. Maybe their perception of the market is incorrect. Is the realtor that you work in, do they have experience? Do they have people backing them up? Do they have the systems in place? What is the reputation on both buying and selling side? Honestly, I think it crosses boundaries across all industries. You want to end up working with somebody you can trust. Like anyone here, and I tell this to my clients too, when I show up maybe in shorts and a shirt to an appointment, they say, "Oh, you wear shorts and you're a realtor." And I said, "Well, I'm very fortunate to have the opportunity to choose who I want to work with. And anybody who I work with is somebody that I probably would have to my house over for dinner. And if you're coming to my house for dinner, I'd probably be wearing shorts too." So again, you buy the person. Oh, Jerry was wearing shorts, wasn't he?
No, he was mad because he was like, I put on jeans and Pablo shows up in shorts. I wanted to wear shorts. He's trying to be all respectful. We really like this comment from our buddy Jay. Skilled labor isn't cheap, and cheap labor isn't skilled, and that's so true across so many industries.
And it deserves an answer on it too. Of, okay, well, Amber, why do you want to pay only that? You know, why are you going only with the cheapest? Because here are all the host of issues that that you could have if your garage isn't built properly. That's the example. Yeah. Right. And people, for example, if you think about real estate, there are agents out there that charge the minimum commission. And then when you are selling your house and you want to think about why would you shoot yourself in the foot and go with the cheapest of anything? Well, likely you're going to end up with cheap results.
Yeah.
And that's on a house or on a garage.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah. So it's so funny to me that when you really break it down, all of our industries, like it's the basics, like at the foundation of it, like we can all relate. And that's where it's nice, like any issues that I have or questions about pricing or having clients or like firing a client or whatever, it's nice that I can kind of run it by him and he, can relate in some sense to it, which I think is really cool.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, it's just in our industries, it's just especially with us running our own businesses, is that it's almost like we get a little bit too personal when it comes to our business, and we can't. For me specifically, sometimes I can't see past like the kind of imaginary borders that I've made for myself. Like if it came down to feeling pressured to give someone a discount and I really don't feel comfortable and I don't want to give them a discount, but I don't want to lose them as a client, Jerry would come in and be like, well, did they do anything to deserve a client or a discount? Well, no. Well, then why are you giving them a discount? Like, it's almost like you have to get that kind of slap in the face from somebody else who can relate, because he's the same thing. He'll have people asking him for discounts and he goes, well, what have you done for me? Nothing. You don't deserve a discount. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, yeah, I agree. It's really nice having
a sounding board sometimes.
Yeah, sounding board. He's getting all like complimented and he doesn't know how to take it right now. So
he's like, yeah, I'm so good. You guys.
I'm not used to all this compliments. I gotta go back upstairs.
Gotta go be around your kids for a little bit,
Oh yeah. Well, in this market right now, like, is it even worth doing a flip, like a renovation in a house?
It is for like buying aspect, and if you
And for
plan on
market value?
moving it into it, but I don't know about doing a flip. Flips are right now are a touchy situation just because all the product right now is so expensive, and
Including
you
houses.
including out like bidding wars, and then on top of that, you think you're gonna spend $50 on something, you end up spending $300 on something. The same thing, which was $50 2 years ago or a year ago. So it's really depending the area that you buy in is probably the best place for a flip.
And if you're planning on staying there for a long period of time.
Or if you plan on staying there, whatever.
Yeah.
That's my theory on renovations. Are always like it's always a good thing to renovate your house due to the fact that it's your house. You want to live in a house that somebody else did a reno on or stagger, then live in it. But I wouldn't. I prefer to have nice floors and nice things in my house. Like so, you gotta
Well, and that's
unfortunately do
where,
it.
yeah, like you especially with you guys, like you being able to do a lot of it yourself, it's really nice because let's say if it was just me on my own, if I were to hire out, I'm under the impression that it wouldn't be as beneficial. Like it would be a lot harder to do like a genuine flip if I wasn't able to do any of the work myself, because then you're putting so much money into it that it's
And
really
you're paying
only
for labor, whereas he's not.
But no,
Yeah.
but you got to remember when I'm doing that flip, guess who's not getting paid?
You're not
I know.
working.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's true.
I know.
That is
So-
true.
Yeah.
That is
Well,
really true. Yeah,
yeah, sorry.
go. I was just gonna say, um, yeah, I was just gonna say, like for us, what we're planning to do is kind of like what you guys did, is buy a house that maybe isn't like the perfect house right off the bat, but we have all these ideas for like renos that we want to do to it, and it's kind of like that value add factor to it, so that when we rent it out or sell it or whatever, most likely we're going to rent it, then it's going to be nice and clean, and then we're going to get our be able to charge a higher rent for our tenants that come in, and make some money in the long run. Do you feel like
carpet? So no carpet, right?
yeah, seriously.
It's as far as the topic of if it's a good time to do a reno, I would say it depends. And it depends if you have the know-how, the skill, the tools, the network. If it's someone like you guys, that you guys have those things, then it might be worthwhile to do so. Of course, you got to start with your goal, your end goal in mind. Is it a 1-year flip, or are you going to live there and, wait the market 5 years and see where it's highest and you sell after? Well, that answer will change for sure. But if you have, if you don't know the difference between a flathead screwdriver and a Phillips, then you probably have no business trying to do a flip.
And you need to call Jerry.
You do. For sure. Because then, all your money will be spent on likely the wrong materials, and of course, buying retail, labor at retail prices, in which it will eat at your margins.
And then you'll have to call Jerry to come and fix all
And
your
you
stuff.
have to come Jerry to fix it. Yeah.
Do you feel like now's a good time to buy in general?
100%. If you think about it, like long term, most people want to buy. They plan to live in their house for as long as they live, or live in their house for this next phase of their life, whatever the life is, that life is. And 10 years ago, houses were cheaper, and 10 years before that, houses were cheaper, and 10 years before that. So overall, in the long term, it's nice to see that there's an upwards pressure in price right now. Sure enough, things are competitive and getting expensive, but in 10 years, likely things will still be even more expensive. The old saying says the best time to buy real estate was, yesterday. The next best time is today.
Oh, I like that saying. Okay.
I think he stole that from somebody.
Well,
The best time to call Jerry was yesterday. The next best time is today.
well, it was really cool, like getting together and actually being able to have a social conversation with all four of us, because Jenna and I know each other on a personal basis, but when we asked these guys to be like, hey, do you guys want to be in an episode with us? It was just kind of like, who am I going to be talking to? Like, yeah.
We didn't quite have a choice.
Well, Jerry was like, so I'm just coming in for like 10 minutes and you're interviewing me and then I'm leaving, right?
That's what I
I'm
thought.
like, no, you're part of the episode. Like, no, you have to be here.
And now they owe us one.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, I never thought of that.
No,
There's
that
a-
passed. The episode's almost over. You didn't have time to negotiate. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch, we'll be on one of the job sites or something, or an open house with fans and water and
Doing what? What would I do at a job site?
hold the fan so he doesn't get hot.
That's not happening. Not
This
happening.
is true love. Remember that. True love.
Actually, speaking of that, I was actually really, really impressed, surprised, because we haven't met a lot of couples that have been together as long as we have. Like, we've been together for 13 years, and then I found out you guys were together for 11. Okay, you're so frustrating. Yeah, it was just really cool to like connect with another couple, especially another entrepreneurial couple that's like just as driven, I feel, as we are, especially for like higher goals and long-term goals and all the things.
All the things.
That's gonna be our motto.
All of the things.
Jerry
All
has a
things.
love-hate relationship with it.
He does. Well, when he came home today, I think I was sitting in the exact same position as
When I left
when he left, because I was just
this morning,
I was on my laptop all day.
so she did all the things on her computer.
Yes, he did.
That's all she did.
That was her
That
yesterday.
that has literally been my life the last couple days. I'm like in deep contemplation about what the fuck I'm doing with my life right now because of these shutdowns.
So all the things.
All the things. Honestly, it's so hard, especially with this digital, like, especially being in the digital age. Like, at least, like, I feel like you, like, Jerry and Pablo have, like, I don't know, what's the word? Not hands-on, but, like, I don't know, and not grunt work either. That's not the right, well, maybe you, but.
Shots fired.
Technically, I grunt when I get up in the morning. Like, seriously, I'm old.
But I mean, like, I mean, like, I guess not. Like, I feel like kind of like our industry, as vain and as successful as our industry is, and we're part of the vanity industry, as my stepdad likes to call it. But like, so I don't think it's ever going to go away. But I feel like our industry is a little bit more expendable than the real estate industry or the construction industry. It's almost considered more of a privilege more than a necessity.
Essential?
That's how I feel. Yeah,
We're not essential.
I didn't want to say that. I just feel like that opens up a can of worms. But I just feel like I feel like for you and me, it definitely takes a lot more thinking and time and planning to get our businesses like to where they need to go, just because we have to keep dealing with all of these things and all the things. But all of the setbacks and all of the boundaries that we need to push, and regulations always changing in our industry, and I feel like, not to say that it doesn't change in your guys' industry, I just feel like right now, especially with our circumstances, that's we're just working a hell of a lot to try and make something happen. And we are.
Yeah,
We are.
totally. But this is where it's nice because you guys, we can all relate to one another and push each other so that we can just keep on fucking pushing and being the best, and that's all we can do right now.
Yeah. The Rock will be here one of these days.
Yeah, man. We'll be interviewing him.
Yeah, we're manifesting it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're manifesting it.
Or like at
I'm
least
part of that
someone-
episode, though, right?
Yeah.
You and Pablo can stand there looking formidable.
Oh my.
Our bodyguards.
Yeah. Like we need one with the 240-pound rock sitting there. Jesus. So,
Well, this is so good. This is really good.
Went by fairly quick.
It went by really quick.
She did.
See, I told you.
Yeah.
It's not bad. Me and Jenna can talk for hours. I swear.
I know
but
that. Then nothing
Don't
gets.
doubt
Then none of the things get done.
all of the things.
No, he said none of
Things
the. Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
One more thing that I wanted to that I thought of like right before we started this episode is I just wanted to like so Pablo. What's that? Oh, I have hair. I'm shedding. Cinco de Mayo. Do you have like something that you want to say about Cinco de Mayo and the celebration and all the?
Okay, wait. Before he says it, you guys should check out the Facebook video that I shared because him with Justin Haver, they actually made like a how to make guacamole video, and it was actually super cute. But anyways, you can tell them what Cinco de Mayo is.
Well, Cinco de Mayo in Mexico, although it is a national holiday, we do not celebrate it at all. We do not bat an eye over it. The reason why it's so big, it's because the United States made it so. The southern U.S. Has a very strong Mexican population, and it's a good excuse to celebrate its heritage, and drink tequila, eat Mexican food and whatnot. But us in Mexico, I don't know. It's just.
But here I am,
overlooked.
white Canadian in my Mexican jersey.
Yeah, I am getting a lot of flack from my friends in Mexico saying like, dude, like, why do you make that video? Because we don't even we don't even celebrate that. They call me a sellout and whatnot, but I tell them like, hey, up here we do celebrate it. It's a good thing. I like it.
I think it's a good thing. Just puts a light on that. I
Why not?
love Mexican culture. My dad lived for 2 years in Long Beach, surrounded by Mexican culture, and it's like his favorite thing ever. I mean, obviously, I eat like very North American Mexican food with sour cream and all that crap, but Tex-Mex. But I love it, and I'm super happy we got to celebrate Tequila Talk Tuesday on Wednesday.
Yes,
Yeah.
me too. Our 5th episode on the 5th month on the 5th day with our favorite people.
Hey, glad it all worked out. We'll be back for another one next year, right, Jerry? Maybe the year after.
Next
year.
Yeah, why not?
I love it. All right. Well, you guys probably have lots to do. We have children coming home soon because my mom was gracious enough to keep them while we did this. But
I wish you would keep them.
Thank you for all of the viewers that have celebrated with us for Cinco de Mayo and for our 5th Tequila Talk Tuesday episode. Yes, I am out because it was delicious. I'm going to post this recipe because it was so good.
So good. And if
and
anyone needs home renos, follow Jerry, call him up. If you need a house sold, hit up Pablo and maybe me because, real estate's essential.
Right? If anybody just tuned in and just wanted to rewatch this episode and get some good tidbits from these two gents right here, and I love that they coordinated in blue. I just noticed that without even trying. Oh yeah, they coordinated their outfits.
We're homies.
Oh, I love it. The episode will be up on IGTV for replay as well as our YouTube channel, and then starting next week we will be going back to Tuesdays at 6 p.m. for Tequila Talk Tuesday. Yay!
Bye guys.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.